Good day folks, Sean here from Air Photography. Today we're going to be doing a long-term review, or you could also say a follow-up review of the Insta360 Go 2. I originally reviewed this back in the early spring when it was released, and I think doing these follow-up reviews can be important because there could be people on the fence about whether this is the right product for them, especially something here like the Insta360 Go 2. Some people might be a little concerned whether it is gimmicky, whether it's actually even very useful. A lot of times with YouTube reviews, we get products and we review them, we test them out, and then that's it, they never get used again. But I can say without a doubt that the Insta360 Go 2 has become a very invaluable tool when it comes to making my YouTube content. Quite often the B-roll footage you see in my videos has been filmed on the Insta360 Go 2. In fact, the Insta360 Go 2 has been such an important tool to me in my content creation, it has helped me build 700,000 followers on TikTok. This is the perfect point of view camera, it's nice, small and compact, and the video quality is quite good. Now, one interesting thing I do want to point out, about a month ago I uploaded a video and it was a stabilization comparison, the Hero 9 versus the Hero 10. And in that video I used the Insta360 Go 2 to capture all the behind the scenes B-roll. And what's really funny, in that video I had about 3 to 4 comments asking what camera I was using to film the B-roll because it was the clear winner. And all that B-roll was filmed on the Insta360 Go 2. So that just goes to show you what an impressive little camera it is. Now for me, what I really like about it is that it is small and lightweight, and when you're trying to capture point of view stuff, you don't want to be bogged down with too much gear. Now don't get me wrong, I love using my GoPros, but if you take a look at the size difference here, you can see just how much smaller it is. And if you want to mount a camera on something like a baseball cap, of course there are accessories and hats in which you can mount a GoPro, but the problem is it's just really too big and bulky to wear on a baseball hat comfortably, especially for any kind of long period of time. When you mount a GoPro on there, you have to have your hat super tight just to be able to hold the weight of it, which makes it uncomfortable to wear for a long period of time. And on top of that, you're constantly having to readjust it because the weight of it's kind of putting it down in front of your eyes. When you mount something like the Go 2 on there, it is super lightweight, it barely weighs anything, so you don't even know it's there. They actually have a nice little hat mount available. You can just clip it onto the front of a hat. If you're a person who likes to wear your hat backwards, you can still clip it on the back with no issue. And you can easily adjust the angle to whatever works best for you. And because it's magnetic, you just pull it out and you can put it into your next mount without a lot of messing around with thumb screws. In those kind of situations, it works perfectly. Now, another popular point of view perspective is wearing an action camera on a chest mount. For the most part, those work really well. But there are those situations where you don't want to be walking around with a chest mount. Sometimes they just don't blend into every situation. With the Insta360 Go 2, they have a pendant. You just wear this under a shirt and you can attach your point of view camera whenever you want. Again, you can pull it off and put it in another mount nice and easily. Now, when it comes to accessories, there's all kinds of mounts to help you get whatever shot you're looking to get. You can buy waterproof housings. Now, this one here isn't from Insta360. This is a third-party one. I think I paid about $10 for it. And what's good about something like this is it's still a nice small form factor when it's installed, and this will just give your Go 2 some extra protection. For example, I quite often like to mount my Go 2 on RC vehicles, and those things kind of flip over quite a bit, so mounting it in something like this is going to keep it protected. Of course, if you don't want to put it in a housing, you can just mount it easily with any kind of finger mount right on an RC vehicle, FPV drone, anything like that. Insta360 even sells a small animal mount, so that's something we're able to do now if you have a small dog like a Chihuahua. There's no way you could really mount a GoPro on your dog if you're playing fetch with it, but now with the Go 2, it's quite easy to do. And this here is Insta360's newest accessory for the Go 2. This here is a power mount. You can just mount your Go 2 in there, lock it in, and as you can see now, there is a USB-C port on it. So you can attach this to a tripod or to a handle, feed power into it from a power bank. That allows you to recharge the unit without having to put it back in the case. You can film a lot longer if you're doing something like an overnight time lapse. Or if you just want to put this on a power bank handle, you can do so easily now. So I've been very pleased with the quality, the performance, and even the durability of this camera. As you can see, it's a little beat up. I've put this thing through the ringer. I've had it buried in mud, buried in sand. This thing has fallen I don't know how many times. I've crashed my RC car without this being in a protective housing, and it has survived every time. The nice thing about it is it actually has a removable lens, so if you do happen to damage the lens, you can do so. And this also allows you to put on ND filters if you need to get that motion blur. So all in all, it's been just a great little camera for me. The nice thing too with Insta360 is they're constantly adding updates. Since this was released in the early spring, Insta360 has provided many firmware updates, fixing some problems and adding a lot of new functionality. If you're an FPV pilot, this works great on small FPV quads. Quality of the video is quite good. I actually have a video coming out in a couple days, maybe perhaps a week, where I'm testing this on the DJI FPV drone, and I was quite surprised at the quality of the video, the smoothness of it. I prefer the video from something like this over the built-in camera on the DJI FPV drone. It's actually quite good. So if you are interested in that video, make sure you keep an eye on my channel. Now this follow-up review is based on how I use my Insta360 Go 2, and that's using it basically as a point of view camera and a B-roll camera. Of course, there are a ton of other things you can do with this camera. As mentioned, you can capture time lapses, star lapses, hyperlapses. Within the app, they have all kinds of shot labs. You can go in and create some really interesting effects. Now, if you weren't quite aware, if you're just learning about the Insta360 Go 2 now during this review, this case here is actually quite handy. Not only is it a charging case, when you put your Insta360 Go 2 in it, it's going to recharge the unit. It also acts as a nice handle for filming. It has a small screen on there for changing modes. You can stop and start recording. You can actually stop and start recording and change modes when it's not mounted in the case. On top of that, the case acts as a little tripod. There's legs you can fold out if you're going to be filming a quick time lapse. And there's also a 1/4-20 in the bottom if you're going to be filming something like a star lapse or an overnight time lapse. You can mount this easily right on a tripod. So all in all, I've been quite pleased with it, and as mentioned, it's become a very important tool when creating my YouTube content. Now, if you're a person who uses the Go 2 as well, I'd love to hear your user experience of it down in the comments. Let me know what you think of it. Hopefully you enjoyed this video and got some value out of it. Give it a thumbs up if you did. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos, and we'll see you in the next one.